This question is taken from WAEC 2012 Further Mathematics, question number 2. The question goes thus: express 3x squared minus 6x plus 10 in the form a into x minus b close bracket all squared plus c, where a, b, and c are integers. Hence, state the maximum value of 3x squared minus 6 plus 10 and the value of s for which it occurs. So this question is basically on quadratic equation. Now we are familiar with the general form of a quadratic equation. The general form of a quadratic equation is y equals ax squared plus bs plus c. This is the general form. This is the general form. And we have the factor form, y equals as plus c into bs plus d. This is the factor form. Then we have the Vertex form, y equals a into x minus k squared plus h. So this is the Vertex form. This is the Vertex form. Now, k and h are the vertex, meaning the maximum value of the quadratic equation is h, and it occurs at the value of k for x. So this question is basically on the third form of the quadratic equation, which is the Vertex form of the quadratic equation of a parabola. Now, your values, the a is basically a constant which tells us if the parabola will have a maximum value or a minimum value. Now, if a is greater than 0, that is, if it is positive, then we'll have a minimum value. If a is less than 0, that is, if it is negative, we have a maximum value. That is to say, if we are going to have a curve that looks like this, that goes up like this, if a is less than 0, then we'll have a curve like this if a is greater than 0. So this is maximum and this is a minimum. Now let's quickly go back to the question. In the question, we are told that a, b, and c are integers. That means they are whole numbers. So what we are going to do is this. I'm going to write this equation in this form: y equals 3x squared minus 6x plus 10. And I'm going to take this down, this 10, this constant here, down to the left hand side. So I'm going to have y minus 10 equals 3x squared minus 6x. Then I have to factor out, I'm going to factor out 3 from this. So when I factor out 3 from there, I'm going to have y minus 10 equals 3 into x squared minus 2x. Now these terms, or the terms here, can be expressed using completing the square. I can complete this and write this in terms of completing the square. So how do I do? I'm going to have this y minus 10 equals 3 into, I'm going to write this x squared minus 2x. So I'm going to have leave the half of this, the half of this term here, the coefficient of x here, and then I'm going to square it. So when I do that, the half of this is going to be minus 2 divided by 2, that's minus 1. So I'm going to add that minus 1 squared to this side. Then, because I have done this here, I have to also add it to this side. So on doing that, I'm going to have this y minus 10 plus, now remember that this term here is being multiplied by this 3 outside here. So I'm going to have 10 plus 3 times minus 1 squared is what? 1 times 3. So I'm going to have what? 3, which is equal to 3. Now when I factor this out, I'm going to have x. The factor of this is going to be x minus 1 squared. So I'm going to have this y minus 10 plus 3 equals 3 into x minus 1 squared. Let me write this way. Then I'm going to have this y minus 7 equals 3 into x minus 1 squared. Then y equals 3 into x minus 1 squared plus 7. When this goes this way, I have plus 7. Now, the value we have here, the constant we have here, a equals 3, and b equals 1, then c equals what? 7. Now, if you compare this to this here, you will find out that this expression here has been expressed in terms of this. So therefore, 3x squared minus 6x plus 10 is actually equal to 3 into x minus 1 squared plus 7. Now we cannot get the maximum and minimum value, since the vertex of the equation is 1 and 7, then it therefore means that it's 1 and 7. It therefore means that the maximum value of the equation is 7, and this occurs at x minus 1 equals 0, s is equal to what? 1. So therefore, the solution is 1, 7.